Welcome to the Catholic Charities Netsmart training video. I will be your instructor for the day. My name is Robert Manfredi. Sit back and enjoy, because today you're going to learn how to use the Netsmart Avatar product. This video will cover reviewing a client's chart. On your client list, if you double-click a client, you're able to bring their chart up. So we're going to do that for Robert Smith. This is Robert Smith's chart. We have a list of forms on the one side, and on the three-quarter side on the right-hand side, it defaults to what's called the overview. And the overview may look awful familiar because this is almost identical, if we go back, to the home view. Problems, vital signs, client episodes, and my to-dos. Go back to the chart. Problems, vital signs, client episodes, and my to-dos. Except it's trimmed down for the client that was selected. So this is only the information on Robert Smith. So if Robert Smith, in this case, has no to-dos, but if he did, just his to-dos would appear here. So let's take a look at what these forms are on the side. They're broken up into categories. The first is client data, and if I click on some of these forms, diagnosis, I can see that a diagnosis was done on this client, and it was done on 10/16/2012. If I go to emergency contact, we see that there was no emergency contact ever done. Financial investigation, we can see that this is a self-pay client. Group member assignment, well, apparently this client's in multiple groups. We can see that he's in the Chocoholics group, the Stop Crack group, the AA group, and the No-Show group, and the Stop Smoking group. Apparently this guy is in a lot of different groups. Each of the entries is separated by a yellow bar. This shows me that this client is in multiple groups. If this was any of the other forms, again, it would be separated by a yellow bar. Well, discharge, I can tell you, is going to be empty. Admission is also empty. And why would admission be empty? Well, this is saying that he's in a pre-admit group, or excuse me, a pre-admit state. So if I go to the pre-admit form, we're going to see that he does have pre-admit data. He's never been admitted yet. Now, considering this person has been here for months, he should have been admitted or screened out of the program. But in this sample case, he's still in a pre-admit state. Then we have a group of NICE forms. This is going to be a subset of all the NICE forms. None of the reports will be here, but virtually all of the NICE forms will be. So we're going to click through some of them just to see if he has any data. He has an adult comprehensive. If I scroll down, see the yellow bar? Here's one. Here's a second. Here's a third. He has 3 comprehensive assessments that were done for him. Well, I'm going to guess he doesn't have a child one done because of his age. He has no communicable disease forms filled out. For IAPs, he's got 1 here. And we're going to scroll. A second. Scroll. He has 2. Okay, so we know he has 2 IAPs. Now, what I didn't show you previously is that we broke these up into categories. This is client data. This is episodic information. Admission, discharges, pre-admissions, that's all associated with episodes. NICE forms, while you do a form within an episode, we group them all together all under NICE. If I scroll down further, there's caseload information, and then documents. Well, documents are a little bit different than everything else that we just looked at. Documents are scanned paper that went into the system. Whenever a front desk person scans something, they put it into a category, and only if there actually is a document under a particular category will it appear for this client. Now, remember before we said that the client doesn't have communicable diseases. This is empty, but yet the button is still there. The link is still there. Anything you see under documents, I can absolutely tell you definitively we have scanned a document under that category. So let's take a look at court papers. Well, it looks like I was lying to you. I don't see anything here under court papers. This is completely empty. But if we look up higher, we can see that there's non-episodic as a tab, and then there's an episode as a tab. And if I click this episode, now we can see that there's an entry here. So what is this telling us? Well, when we scan documents in, we can scan them to be non-episodic, which means it doesn't matter how many enrollments a person has, or episodic, then you would have to pick the proper episode for you to be able to see what documents were scanned underneath it. So let's try to see what these court papers look like. Well, I can tell you in advance that these things aren't really court papers. It's not real documents. We just scanned some sample paper that we happen to have in front of us. So I'm going to click View, then the View button. And up is going to come up an image of what was scanned. And look, it happened to be some NICE group note instructions. So if I scroll, I can actually look at this. This is actually a graphic or a PDF that we're looking at. It is not anything that's editable. We can print it if we wanted to. Here's a nice print button down here. But we wouldn't be able to run any reports on any of the information that you see within any of these documents, anything that's called a document here downward. All right, so let's take a look at driver's license. Well, he has a driver's license under the non-episodic category, and under the episode, he also has one. I don't know what this is. We're going to take a look. I have a feeling, I can tell you it's not a real driver's license. We'll see what it actually is. Well, I'm going to shrink this down, and we'll see what it looks like. Well, it looks like at the back of somebody's library card. So let's take a look at what we've got. We saw that if we click Overview, we get what looks like the widget view for this client chart. We also saw that there's a number of categories of data, client data, episodic, NICE, etc., that you can look at individual forms underneath, as well as scanned documents that we can look at the results of. Now, if we bring up a document, let's bring up the adult comprehensive, for example. One of the things I didn't show you is that in the upper right-hand corner, you also have the ability to add. What this is going to do, let's click it, is it brings up the adult comprehensive form and allows me to create a brand new one. So within the document, within the client's chart, you have the ability, if I go back to here, to actually add another document of the same type by clicking the Add button in the upper right after a form's already been selected. Now you also have sorting and filtering options, and depending upon what form you have up, for example, on the adult comprehensive, you can sort by episode and entry date. On other forms, let's bring one up, military assessment. This one you can only sort by episode. By the risk assessment, you can sort by episode and date of entry date. By pre-admit, you could sort by program, episode, admit date, or discharge date. And I think you get the idea that whatever form you bring up, the appropriate types of sorts and filters will become available. And for most purposes, you're not even going to bother with these sorts and filters. The most recent entry will appear at the top, and the oldest entry will appear at the bottom. But you can change that sort if you wish. This red X allows you to close the client chart, and since we already have an adult comprehensive open in the background, remember how we click the Add button? Let's see what it does. The following forms are currently open for Robert Smith, the NICE Adult Comprehensive Assessment. Do you wish to close these forms and lose changes? Well, yes. So we're going to click Yes, and now we're back to our home view. So, in review, if you'd like to bring up a client chart, all you do is double-click on their name under Recent Clients or My Clients, and the chart comes up. It's as simple as that. Thank you for watching this Catholic Charities Netsmart training video. Please be sure to watch the others in the series for a further understanding of the Netsmart Avatar product.